Hey, what's up everybody? It's Amaya. So today's video is going to be something really cool, and it's going to be talking all about makeup firsts. So I've compiled a list of all of the first makeup products that I ever got, and I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about them, if I still like them, if they were good, if they were bad, kind of like those favorites revisited videos that have been going around, but a little bit different. We're going way back. Also, I know my pictures are not back up there. I'm just lazy. I've been really too busy to like hang them back up. It takes a bit because I have to kind of like measure them, so ignore that. Also, every video from here on out that you're going to be seeing has been pre-filmed. Most of my videos are pre-filmed anyway, but these are going to probably be pre-filmed like a bit in advance. I'm going to be going to Africa actually for 2 weeks. I'm going to go to Uganda. We're going on a non-religious mission trip with a wonderful organization, a local organization called the Giving Circle. So we're going to be going there and basically just helping out, doing basically what you would do on a mission trip, but it is a non-religious one, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a very rewarding experience, I can feel, and I feel like we're going to definitely make a difference, so I'm very excited. However, that is 2 weeks long, so I am going to be trying to pre-film some videos so that way I have some out in those 2 weeks, and that way there's like no content. I already have one video pre-filmed, this one will be one, and then I'm trying to get maybe like 2 or 3 more up. Also, if you have not already, check out my social medias. My Instagram and Twitter will be right over here, and all my others will be in the description bar. So yeah, that's it for announcements. Without further ado, let's hop into the video. So the first primer I ever owned was actually one of these guys. It was the e.l.f. Mineral Face Primer, and I remember thinking like, I don't really know what this is, but people are always talking about primers, so I think this is it. I just remember like when I first got it, I was just starting to get into YouTube, and I wasn't really watching so many people, and plus back then primers weren't really that popular, so there wasn't a ton of people talking about primers in general. But then when I started hearing people talk about them, I was like, oh, that's what that thing is. Basically, this is just a very like smooth dimethicone primer, very similar to the Smashbox Photo Finish primer. I don't think it's a bad primer. It's a little bit greasy for my liking, but it's not horrible. I just rubbed some on the back of my hand, and it does make your hand feel very smooth. It does the same thing to your face. I don't really use it now. This is not the original one, by the way. This is like a newer one that I've had. I used up my first one, and like I said, it's an okay primer, not great. And I actually want to mention another product. This is an eyeshadow primer, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I was so excited to get this product. It was the e.l.f. eyeshadow primer. So I had been watching a ton of YouTubers at this time, and they were all using eyeshadow primers, and specifically like the Urban Decay Primer Potion was super popular, and this e.l.f. primer. And I was so excited because I have very greasy eyelids, and I would always have my eyeshadow look really gross and weird, and I was like, oh, why is it looking so bad? And then I heard about eyeshadow primers, and I was like, that's it. It's the solution to all my problems. Like, there we go. And I would talk about it non-stop. I ordered it online for e.l.f., and while it was waiting to come, I would talk and talk and talk about it, and finally my mom was like, stop talking about that eyeshadow primer. I cannot hear you talk about it anymore. I just was so excited to get it, and it was a great eyeshadow primer. I love eyeshadow primers. I use them every single day. I have to. I don't have that one still. I do have one of the other e.l.f. eyeshadow primers. I think it's called like their mineral primer, which I don't think they make anymore. But the e.l.f. primers, they're pretty good. They're not my favorite, but they are pretty good. Okay, next, my first foundation was the Maybelline Dream Mousse. I'm gonna insert a picture right here. This was such an interesting foundation. This foundation was so weird because when you squeezed it out, it came out in like a foam bubble. And some of these foundations were actually like becoming popular again like a few months ago. People were acting like it was like this brand new concept, and I was like, no, like I've had a foundation like that before. Like my first foundation, that was it. Yeah, it was very weird. I think I had it in a color that was a little too dark for me. It was very like orange, and I actually have a few videos of me using it, and I looked back at those videos and I was like, that actually doesn't look too bad. From what I remember, it was kind of like a natural finish. It wasn't dewy, it wasn't matte either, and the wear time was pretty good. So I don't know, do any of you guys use that foundation? Did you ever use it when it was popular? I don't remember disliking it, and I've looked back at the videos where I've worn it, and I'm like, no, that actually looks pretty good. But then again, when you're 14, everything looks good on your skin, so who knows? But yeah, that was my first foundation. So my first concealer was another e.l.f. product. I had a lot of e.l.f. products because this is kind of what my mom bought me first. It was an e.l.f. duo. It had an illuminating side and a concealer side. So this was back when highlighting wasn't really the thing that it is today. It was really about like under eye highlighting and then like a little bit on the cheeks, but that wasn't really like a big deal. So when I saw the highlighting side, I thought that meant like highlighting like under eye. So it was like kind of this white, like semi-shimmery liquid, and I would put that underneath my eyes. Oh my god, I think I probably do it in a video. I don't know if I did or not, because I didn't really do a lot of makeup tutorials, but I would just use the concealer side a little bit, but I would really use the illuminating side. And oh my god, this product was not good. It barely had any coverage. It was very liquidy. It was very weird. I did not like it at all, but I didn't really know any better. So I still used it, but looking back at it now, I'm like, oh, that was such a bad product. Okay, so my first powder was the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. I feel like this was a lot of people's first powders. And honestly, this is such a good powder. Like, it was so lightweight and it really just set my makeup and left everything feeling very like smooth, and it stayed for a long time. I really liked this powder. I think it's a really good powder. I know I have dry skin and it probably wasn't the best choice for me, but it wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't bad. I really liked it. So my first bronzer was actually a powder, and it was from e.l.f. It was their pressed mineral powder or something like that. Do I still have that one? This was the shade that I had that matched my face. This was another powder that I had around the same time as the Rimmel one, but the Rimmel one was my first one. As you can see, I have used up a lot of this. This is bad, but I kind of don't know why I keep it. I actually didn't know I still had this, but I bought this in a darker shade because that's what Jaclyn Hill always said she did. She said she would always get her MAC powder and then she'd get it in a darker shade and use that as her bronzer. So that's what I did with this powder because I didn't really know a lot about bronzers, and it was very, very orange toned. Oh my god, it did not look good. It was very orange on me. I did not like it. This powder I did really like, as you can tell. I've used up so much of it. And then the other bronzer that I had, because that one wasn't technically a bronzer, was actually just the e.l.f. like plain bronzer in like little like compact. That also was very orange. It was kind of shimmery as well. And even then, when I didn't know a lot about makeup and I didn't have a lot of makeup, I just remember being like, yeah, this is not good. I don't like this. Okay, so my first blush was actually something that I didn't know was a blush. It was the Physicians Formula Happy Booster, and it looked like this. And I'll try to find the exact one that it was, because it had like white, like some highlighty shades and some pink shades. I honestly didn't know what this was. I just thought it was like a just shimmery powder. Like, honestly, you guys, when I first started wearing makeup, I had my mom teach me a little bit, and then pretty much after that, it was me just teaching myself until I found YouTube, and then I kind of started to like figure things out. But before that, for a good like 3-4 months, it was just me like trying to figure out what the heck this stuff was. So I did not know this was a blush. I would use it as eyeshadow. I actually would use it like underneath my eyes. I would use the white highlighting shades underneath my eyes. It was bad, but again, when you're 14, anything looks good on your skin, honestly. But these Happy Boosters, I've heard people really like. I really liked mine. It ended up, I think it broke. I'm pretty sure it broke actually, but I did use it quite a bit and I did really like it, but I did not use it as a blush, even though it was one. Okay, so my first highlighter, I actually couldn't remember at first. I actually had to go back and look at my old videos to figure out what the heck it was, and it was the Ulta Beauty Illuminator. So this was this little highlighter, and it was, I want to say like $9 or something. I don't know, it was not cheap, but I got it when I was shopping for my birthday because this was right when highlighter started to become a thing. This was like 2015, I think, and highlighters were really starting to like amp up. And oh my god, this was such a bad highlighter. Oh my god. So it was one of those very like yellow toned highlighters, and it was not good. It was like one of those ones that's like white with like a weird yellowish reflect. Very, very strange. Man, it did not look very good. I did not like that one. I do not think it's very good. I do not recommend it. Okay, so my first palette I actually featured in a palette declutter that I did on my channel like 2 years ago. And I think I kept it and I talked about how it was my first palette, but it was this giant e.l.f. palette. Like e.l.f. comes out for the holidays with these giant palettes, and one year my mom just bought me like 5 of them. Like 5 of these big ones, then tiny ones, and then, oh my god, like it was crazy. But oh yeah, oh my god, I remember getting this and being like, oh, like, oh my god, look at all this makeup I can use. I was always into quantity over quality at that time. But it had like eyeshadows on one side, and then it had blushes, and then lip products, and then like lip gloss things, and the one I thought was an eyeshadow primer, but it wasn't. It was a lip gloss, so I would like put it on my eye. Oh my god, Amaya. I didn't know. Oh my god. I loved this thing. Do I think it was very good? No. Like, it's one of those like cheap palettes, and hey, I loved it. I thought it was cool, but but it's so nostalgic because I think back to that time and I remember like that was the only thing I would use. So I would like open up my bin of makeup and pull that out. I had blush and bronzer and eyeshadow and lip products and like everything. Okay, so my first eyebrow pencil was actually not an eyebrow pencil at all. It was this NYC eyeliner pencil. It was a black eyeliner pencil and it said liner and brow pencil, I think, on it. So I was like, great, I can use it on my brows. Because I didn't do my brows for like the first like year and a half of wearing makeup. I just didn't need to. And then I decided one day to just try it out. And so I would literally just draw a line. Oh my god, it was so bad. And finally I bought the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. Thank God, because that definitely helped. It did not solve my brow problems. And like just up until recently, this is like the happiest I have been with my brows in probably all 4 years of doing makeup. They've gone through some rough patches. I say this all the time, but this was definitely one of the roughest. It was so bad. Okay, so my first mascara was the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Mascara. It was one in the pink tube, and this mascara I remember really liking. I used it all up and I actually took the wand out and washed the wand and would use it like just to like brush out my lashes or whatever. I remember liking this mascara. Then again, I would just kind of go my mascara and be done because that's kind of what I was taught. Nowadays I use 4 different mascaras and I take about 6 minutes to apply it, so things have changed. So I don't know how I would like this mascara now. I don't even know if they still make this one. I know they make the original Organic Wear still, and that one is really, really good. The one in the pink tube, I remember liking it, but then again, my mascara routine was very different at the time. So my first setting spray ever was the e.l.f. setting spray, and this I definitely got much later. This was probably like 2015, like later. So I'd already been doing makeup for like a year and a half at this point, because setting sprays definitely were a thing, but they weren't like that much of a thing. They weren't as popular as they are now. Obviously they weren't a staple, so I didn't really know what the heck this was until I got into wearing makeup more, and then I picked this one up and it's a good setting spray. I mean, I have the illuminating version now. They make a matte and an illuminating. At the time they just made one and it was pretty good. I liked it. It's not amazing, not my favorite, but it was good. And then my first lipstick, this is the last product that I'm going to talk about. I'm sure so many of you can relate, but it was the Maybelline Baby Lips. Oh my god. Maybelline Baby Lips. I collected these darn things. Like, collected them. I think I had about like 7 at one point. Like, it was insane. And I would always collect like the bright hot pink ones because that's what Bethany Moda wore at the time, and like I just wanted to be Bethany Moda. She was like my idol. And I would just buy all of them. I had like a purple one, I had a sunscreen one, and I had like, I think one was called Pink Shock. That was like my favorite. I don't know why I remember that. I had like an orangey one. I had another pink one. Oh my god, I had so many. It was crazy, and like everybody collected these at the time, so I would pick them up whenever I could find them at like CVS on sale or at the discount store that I was talking about. It's called Ocean State Job Lot, and I would always like watch Bethany's videos and like see which ones she was using and then try to find that one, or I would see like if she was using one that I had and I'd be like, oh my god, we're using the same one. Like, oh my god, I was such a fangirl. So yeah, that was it for this video, you guys. Those are all of my first products. I thought this was a really fun video to film. I would love to see some of you guys do this video or comment down below. Also, I tag like everybody on YouTube to do this tag. I think it would be so much fun to kind of hear what everybody's makeup firsts were and what you think about them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you. Mwah. Bye. It's delicious.